Hey guys, Milo34 here. Really quick video today showing you how to set up a mouse to be very efficient when it comes to video games. Go to computer, control panel, search inside the control panel for mouse. Good, got mouse. Hit enter, it'll bring up this one anyways. Pointer options, disable enhanced pointer precision and keep it at factory. That's probably where you're going to want it anyways. Click OK when you're done, close out of that. All you got to do for that. Now, if you don't have one of the more expensive mice, you're probably not going to have this. This talks about DPI and reports per second or polling rate. Put it to the highest when it comes to polling rate. That's how many responses or how many messages this thing sends to receive from this and then sends to the computer. So higher is better. As for DPI, imagine it as a big picture or a small picture. It takes you longer to take your finger across a big picture, the higher DPI, than it does a small picture. But you can't be as precise on a shrunken down version of the Mona Lisa as to where that particular color or pigment or place is than the big picture itself. Same as DPI. Let's break this down, make it simpler to you guys. Imagine this is my screen. Imagine I have a grid. Imagine this is a person. Low DPI. That's our low DPI example, the person standing right here. My mouse can only snap to the center of these grids. How am I supposed to hit the target in the center, who's a distance away, if my crosshair can't actually end up aiming on him? Higher DPI, bigger grid, I have more boxes that my mouse will snap into. So finding a DPI that's both low enough and high enough is very important. You don't want one that's too high, or else it's going to be one of those ones where, oh shit, I didn't make it back into the game and I got kicked. Oh. Finding a DPI that isn't too low or too high is very important, because if you end up going too low, just like my example was, you're just going to blow past the whole thing. You're going to blow past the entire character, and if it's too high, it's going to take you too long to actually be able to find the character. Okay, all that said, let's move over to game now and show how this actually ends up applying in game and how you can end up setting up the mouse in the game. Webcam screen, we can turn off the screen. Pretty new to the streaming tools that are out there. I'm not used to it at all, actually, but it was pretty easy to set up, so I hope I'm doing it okay. And this is a very rushed video because I got a lot of stuff that I have to end up getting through, and I don't want this to be a 30-40 minute video for something that should be relatively simple. Pause the video at any points if you guys have any questions or anything like that. I show it as well as show myself doing it and explain it to a degree where if there is anything that's odd or that I missed, somebody will be able to have an answer for you in the comments. I'll answer any questions that I feel need answering, but if you do ask me a question like how do you do this in the comment section, or if you just do that to be a goof, I'll make jokes at your expense or ignore you, one of the two. Okay, so let's mess up my settings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take it to 10. This is way higher than what it should be, and even that sensitivity that I had before is a guess as what it was before, because this is like I don't know. Find something that's on the wall that's got a way of you knowing that you're looking at it relatively straight. That'll kind of help you to know that you're accurate. So this post has another post that runs all the way down to the wall that is supposedly bracketing that holds these big metal sheets and the targets in place. I'm going to try and align those two posts every time that I come back to this location, and that will be my tell if I've actually been able to line this up correctly when I make a move quickly one way and then quickly back. If I'm way off to the side like this, then I'm not accurate. If I'm within this range like this, I'm pretty happy with that, because then it's a quick move to get it on target. Okay, so plant my hand, plant my wrist, Move it as far as I can to one side. Now that was more like almost a 360. And the same thing the other way. That was a 360. Alright, so if I'm able to do a 360, then I can pretty safely say that I can probably take my sensitivity down by half and start adjusting from there to find a sensitivity that I like, that I'm good with. Settings, keyboard, mouse, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I think that's what we said it was when I took it off, or before I adjusted it. Whatever. Next step, find yourself a pen and a paper. I happen to have this thing that came from the bank for me. Probably shouldn't have flipped it over like that because my information's on there, but whatever. We're gonna run three tests, or sorry, we're gonna run the test 3 times. Then we're gonna get an average score from those 3 tests, and then we're gonna run it. Oops. Again, and then the average score from that one is going to be compared to the first one to tell me, was it a higher score, was it a lower score? And then we're going to repeat that process. But I'm only going to do it twice for this, just so you guys get an idea, because I don't want this video to go for a couple of hours. Fuck's sakes. Eight, 10. You'll notice that these targets pop up at very strange intervals. Sometimes they'll be faster than other times. So it's important to run this test more times than you'd like to, just to make sure that you work out as much inconsistency as you can and get a very accurate average. Let's start talking now so I can pay more attention to this. $840, 33. Not bad, not bad, not good, not bad. This is a pretty good score. $855. $855. Okay. So we take 855, we add it to 840, we add it to 810. We get a total of 2,505, and we divide that by 3. Our total average, which makes sense, is 835 points. Okay. Based upon what you ended up seeing or feeling when you were doing the test, if you felt like you were overshooting the targets, we'll say, or not overshooting, overshooting the targets when you were trying to hit the target, you were just moving the crosshair past where the target actually is, overshooting the target is what they call it, then that means you're probably going to want to go with lower sensitivity. I'm going to do that in this one because I know already that I can get better results with a lower sensitivity, even a lower sensitivity than I like to play with. So we're going to drop that down by one small chunk. That's all it is, just small adjustments. And we're going to test again. Now, don't automatically count it out right at the beginning if it feels a little odd, because in most cases it's going to feel a little odd just because your brain has to end up getting used to it. First one, 795. Oops. $885. That's a really good score. That's a really, really good score. That's because we got 35 shots off. As I said, these targets will pop up. At random intervals. Really frustrates me, especially if I'm doing testing. So if you can find a better way of doing your testing rather than the bunker for consistency's sake, definitely go that route. Like ammunition might even have one. 820. Another really good score. Okay, so now take all those scores, add them all up, do the same thing, find out what our average is, and then we find out if we did better or worse. I can already tell you we did better. Ooh. No. Even with that really high score, we came out with an average of 833. 2 points lower than the other one, meaning that this sensitivity supposedly is worse than this sensitivity, though it felt more fluid. It felt better. So that means that, at least for me, and this is, I wouldn't make this call just off of 3 tests, I'd make it off of like 10 tests per sensitivity, that this test at least shows that's a higher sensitivity than what this is. I play better with, even though I know that's not true. So do that exactly as I just showed you, and that will give you a pretty good idea of what kind of sensitivity is best suited to you. There's one other thing we didn't talk about, or at least I don't think I talked about in this, but then again, I've done a ton of takes. Raw input, direct input, and windows. I play with raw inputs. The reason I play with raw input as opposed to direct input or windows is because Windows supposedly scales off of your FPS from the reading, the brief amount of reading that I was doing. Raw input, I think, either takes it from the mouse or the hardware, and raw input is usually what's ending up being used, at least from what I remember, in games like CS and other ones as well, and direct input is going to be something which is going to be like additional software in between, or lack thereof additional software in between. And you want your additional software coming from your mouse, because the additional software coming from your mouse is going to have that additional DPI, making it more consistent. Direct on this game, if I move the mouse really fast, it doesn't seem to have that same kind of pickup as what raw does. So that's the reason why I run raw. One other thing, pay attention to your mouse pad. If you start to feel spots where you don't have the same kind of grit as what you do on the rest of the mouse pad, cut yourself a piece of cardboard. If you don't have a mouse pad, like I said, cut yourself a piece of cardboard out of like a cereal box or something like that, and use the underside, the actual cardboard side, not the side that has the fancy print on it. And that would be a good temporary mouse pad until you're able to get yourself a good quality one from a store. That's it. You guys have it all. That's the way that I play. The pros actually do full motions like this. So if you want to play like a pro, you can bring your sensitivity way down and get yourself accustomed to moving your whole arm. If you can do this across the entirety of the mouse pad and have that dialed in so that from the center out to here is half, or yeah, half a rotation, and out to here is half a rotation, you'll be far more consistent, because then when you're doing your micro movements like this, you'll be able to hit headshots like it's nothing. So hope that helps you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. Like I said, if you ask something retarded, I'm not going to respond, or I'm going to make fun of you. Not saying anything mean, not making fun of anybody, but I will be making fun of you guys. Okay, people, take care. Bye. Oh, wrong one.